So the next intern we're going to hear from is Midge. Midge is studying liberal arts here at QCC, and she plans to become a nurse. She's a member of C-STEP, which is the Collegiate Science and Technology Entry Program. And I think that she came to this internship with kind of a psychology focus, whether or not she realized it, because in her application she mentioned, quote, that she wanted to learn about the impact and the effects of the Holocaust on society and individuals, and to learn about how survivors deal with what was going on. But the thing in her application that I appreciated the most was that she wrote the internship would be a great opportunity to understand how we can prevent a tragic event like the Holocaust from happening again in our own time. Midge interviewed survivor Jane Keibel, and Jane was unable to attend today because she's in Vermont visiting her son and her grandchildren. So Midge will come up on her own.
Hello, everyone. I'm really nervous, so if I speak too fast, I'm sorry. So I had the pleasure of speaking to Miss Jane. She made me realize how that different things that we go on with our life, we make it seem like it's a big deal, but compared to the constant change that she went through, it's almost kind of not in comparison, if that makes sense. So Miss Jane grew up in a well-off family. Her father owned a department store where they were pretty well off. It had many stores and whatnot, and she lived a good childhood. That was until Hitler was starting to come into power. And she noticed small gradual changes that were going on in her life. Like, she wasn't able to go to the pool or even sit on a bench or hang out with her friends. Like, she had to go to the gym from everywhere else during school just to hang out with her friends. And she wasn't allowed to have friends from other denominations like Christians. And she just kept noticing these changes, and also her family did. And after that, she told me about the night of the broken glass, which was when the German army basically just smashed all Jewish businesses, like hospitals, schools, and even her father's department store may have gotten in trouble. But he still, after that happened, he still opened it to support the family. After that, it was decided that her family would decide to go to Cuba. It was between China or Cuba, she told me, and they decided Cuba because it was closer to America. So they got 4 visas. They had to leave all their belongings because they weren't permitted to keep anything, and they decided to go on the SS St. Louis, leaving everything behind. After 7 days on voyage with her family, she reached Cuba, and her family was denied entry to Cuba because they had to pay more money to get inside the country, which absolutely made no sense because they were refugees. They abandoned everything to come to escape what was going on in their own homeland, but they were denied entry. So they were at sea for at least a month with so much uncertainty. They didn't know what was going to happen. People were also considering suicide. And it was thanks to this captain Jane told me about. She had a strong, I wish I can remember his name, but
Captain Street.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. It was him who held everything together. She had such a great opinion of him. He even tried to aid negotiations with Cuba. They even tried to send telegrams to US and Canada, but there was no response, and I don't know how Jane dealt with that. I really don't, because I think in our life we always have a plan. We're always certain what we're gonna do, what's next. And those people who are on the ship, they didn't know what the next step was. So you can imagine. So thanks to the efforts, she didn't tell me about this, but I kind of like looked it up myself. Like I found out it was through the efforts of the JCS, which is a nonprofit organization for the Jewish community, that through their efforts they were able to get negotiations with Belgium, Britain, France, Holland. Were able to get at least 1/4 of those refugees on the ship. And thank God it was Jane's family. And her father didn't choose any country. He led it to chance, and they decided to go to, by chance, France. And from there, Jane was separated from her parents. Her parents lived on with 3 other couples, and she went to a foster home. And there she kind of discovered herself. She told me, like, she wasn't under her parents' strict upbringing, so she was able to take it ease and find out what she liked and disliked. She learned sewing, French, all that. And that was when World War II commenced, and her father found, through his means, her father immediately, he didn't like the fact that they were separated. So they found means to finally get to America by boat again. And from there, Jane and her family finally resided in Kew Gardens, and there she was able to raise a family of her own. The opportunity of meeting Jane was absolutely an honor, like everyone said, because we don't always get the opportunity to meet people who survived catastrophes such as the Holocaust. So I'm grateful. I'm honestly grateful. And she taught me how, like, even though I'm uncertain of something or I'm afraid, I still should go at it head on with a good attitude and vigor, and also appreciate my family. Because one thing I noticed from this story was that Jane's family, and especially her father, he was thinking of his like family constantly. Like he was like first trying to, I also didn't mention this during the night of the broken glass, because her father was very well known among the community and well liked. He was able to escape the summons from the German army, and he was able to escape. And then the soldiers went inside the house looking for him, and they didn't do anything to her mother, her sister, or herself because of her father. So I just think that this taught me that family is very important, and we should all face things head on. And it was absolutely an honor, and thank you all.
Midge, stay for 1 second. Yeah. So Jane was really upset that she couldn't come, so she actually wrote you a letter on the plane to Vermont, and she emailed it to me. Okay, she said, "Dear Midge, I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you today. I'm sure everything will work out all right. I was very glad to meet you and share my experiences with you. I felt that sometimes you felt the same pain that I felt. I wish you a lot of luck, and I'm sure you will make a very good nurse. Best of luck, Jane."